Hello, my name is Dr. Mehdi Yavari, and I will start our introduction to servant leadership by Group 10. The theory of servant leadership originated back in the 1970s in writings of Robert Greenleaf. Ever since then, it has been defined and redefined many times by many scholars and authors, but the one that I would like to talk about is the definition by Peter Northouse in his leadership book. In this book, Northouse defines servant leadership as the type that ensures that the highest needs of the followers are being met by the servant who is the leader, and that the leader makes sure that the followers grow personally and intellectually as well as professionally to become leaders and therefore servants themselves. As you can tell by the name and the definition of this type of leadership, it focuses on the leader as opposed to the followers, and it asks for the leader to become the servant to the followers and make sure that their needs are being met. Daryl Mahan, in his article in International Leadership Journal, points to this paradoxical definition. However, at the end, he concludes that this kind of leadership approach is inspired by high moral and ethical standards and is actually a great type of leadership that will help the followers as well as the leaders excel.
Greetings, my name is Sabrina Townsend Penix, and today I will be discussing how servant leadership adds to servant leadership studies. Outcomes are the measurable indicators in the addition of leadership studies. Outcomes include follower performance and growth, which focuses on greater self-actualization in which servant leaders encourage followers to be their best selves. Follower enroll performance, where they are more successful in achieving and completing their jobs and job descriptions. And followers, which also transition and become servant leaders. Another outcome is increased organizational performance. There is a positive correlation between servant leadership and organizational citizenship behaviors, according to Peter Northouse. The last outcome is societal impact. Philosopher Mother Teresa, who believed that she served God by serving and nursing the poor. Southwest philosophy of others first, which encourages their employees to put others first and demonstrate proactive customer service. Southwest believes in a servant's heart and a warrior's spirit. 39 years ago, this airline was also built on the business strategy of the Golden Rule.
Hello, my name is Jamila Parks, and I will be discussing the criticisms of servant leadership. In retrospect, servant leadership has some downsides when looking at criticism from all aspects. Peter Northouse discussed different criticism points, and one that stuck out was the contradiction of the definition. When we think of a servant, we think of someone who serves others, and when we think of a leader, we think of someone leading others. This was a big point that Northouse chose to focus on. Many of managers lack the servant quality, and because of this, servant leadership can be seen as a contradiction. Paul Whiteside's article focuses on how relationships between employees and managers can be different depending on a servant leader taking the control and actively leading. He also describes how managers can be seen as lacking authority because they consider their employees and their service to their employees' needs. He also discusses how it can demotivate employees from wanting manager positions because they see themselves on the same level as their managers.
Greetings, I'm Dazzle Fleming, and I want to take a moment to look at a new theory of servant leadership. Recent research by Dr. Kumar highlighted the correlation between servant leadership and the impact it has on employees. In contrast, studying the different demographic variables and unique performance traits that are desired by organizations like on-the-job performance, organizational commitment, and community citizenship behavior. NGOs are taking this approach, and because NGOs are essential to the development of humanity, it tends to complement the government, the public sector, and the private sector due to its social impact and community relationships. So in India, this theory believes the different inputs of leader behavior, organizational demographics, and employee demographics provide servant leaders with employee outputs. such as on-the-job performance, organizational commitment, and community citizenship behavior. Eventually, this outlook of servant leadership will surface in the United States.
Hello, I am Shane Broomfield, and I will be discussing the group assessment of servant leadership approach. Servant leadership has become very prominent, especially in the current global environment. We live in a time and age where things are becoming more digital than ever. Whether it's book information or currency, technology advances, and so do we. Having social media platforms also allows organizations to please the masses, whether it's consumers or those being led within the organization. Servant leadership allows comfort and trust within the organization. It allows the opinion of others that are directly or indirectly associated with an organization to be heard. Servant leadership approach leads with ethics, which I believe makes it highly beneficial for the success of the organization.